welcome to Outliers Edge, where we continue to see what it takes to be the person that is required to change, to create a future that is distinct from our past. And I think that today we have with us a guest that is exactly doing that on a daily basis. It's none other than Zylo Marshall. Zylo, thank you for the game that you play. Thank you for playing the Outlier game and so much, and thank you for standing for what you stand for. It's good to have you here today.
Thank you.
Silo, we like to make sure the outliers get a chance to get to know you as we start each conversation. So, would you mind letting us know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Okay. I understand being taken advantage of because of disability. Okay. I've been there. I understood that. I see well, you're inferior. You don't understand this. So therefore, get out of my face. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. I just mean that people don't seem to have any patience or understanding, and they'll take advantage of you over assets and other things because you're disabled. Therefore, you don't understand. Why do you need money? The other area is employment. If you want to get a job, okay, and it's not working, and you're on SSI and you're on a 9-month trial work period, that's going to help you become independent and not live on SSI doing nothing, which millions of people do. They don't have any resources to help them get to where they want to be. They're adults, they're on their own. They have to deal with life and they don't have the support they need to make it easier without, if you get a job and you fail, you're homeless because you tried, you lose your SSI, there's all those rules. When it goes back to legal issues, civil legal issues, you don't have an attorney, you don't have the assets. How can you have somebody protect you in those legal matters because you don't have the resources and therefore you're stuck with no support?
So, what I get about you, Zylo, is that the things that you work on are actually like life and death or livelihood and death is the way I look at it here. Like it's not to say a nice to have in here. You really stand for something that matters out in the world, right?
Yes.
Um, you have it here as your moniker, like a national disability rights activist, right?
Yes.
And so like tell me about like your journey to really owning that and saying and not playing, not choosing to be on the sidelines with this, but actually choosing to be like in the forefront and not just for yourself but for others. Tell me about your journey with that.
Well, I wouldn't mind being a speaker. I have to work on toning down and understanding how to be able to speak. But we need those with disabilities. We need those who are attorneys. And we need those who want to help with those with disabilities, speak about the issue, and make it understood for the world to understand that there are some very smart, educated people that stutter, that have something that affects their disability, but they're smart, and because they're disabled, they're not good enough. So we need to have professionals, attorneys, politicians to change laws so that we can become independent and on our own without having to live on the system, holding us at a standstill in a shell, doing nothing, which that's what millions of people are doing. Because if they want to get a job, what are they going to do if it doesn't work out?
There's an element here when I hear you here, it's like you're bringing together an ecosystem of people to actually make a change against like the status quo. Does that feel correct when I say it that way?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
And like I want to get to the element of like what it takes to bring all these different people into the room or to align them all toward making change. I'm gonna get to that because I think there's a number of outliers who see something that they think is not right, and are taking steps to it, but haven't like gone to actually go and say, how do I actually make changes on the systemic level, which is where I believe that you choose to play. Does that feel accurate, Zilo?
Yes.
Yeah. So, God, were you going to say something else?
There's as you can see here, I'm talking about two aspects. And I don't want to confuse the two because I'm going back and forth. The
Okay.
first one is legal support on civil matters over assets. Okay. And so I want to work on that now and then discuss the employment rights aspect because there are two different issues, but they help those who are being taken advantage of or not getting the support they need to get there where they want to be. Um,
So
yeah.
let's start there then. Let's start in that first category here. What is it that you want us to know first and foremost related to that, and then we'll dive in and explore more.
Well, I was disinherited over an estate because of fraud and corruption and financial exploitation. Okay, and that left me at a standstill. So therefore, what do I do with myself? So therefore, I need legal help, and I'm pretty sure millions and millions of other people who are being taken advantage of are stuck because they don't have the support they need in legal matters over assets, over $100,000. Let's say you got issues over that, and that would help you in your life if you want to make it out there. But if you don't have the support you need, you can eventually live on the streets because you tried and failed. And there's the issue: if you make more than uh, $2,000 a month, okay, and it doesn't work out for that, you have to have support to be able to help you in that regards to assets or stuff that helps you live that you did not earn but you received through inheritance or other sources to become independent, which is that's what millions of people want to do, is become independent. But they can't because they're being taken advantage of because of their disability.
So if I'm getting you right here, there's 'cause you said a couple things here, and I want to make sure I'm actually like following fully. One,
Right.
there's an element here um but as it relates to assets, like you're fighting for people to not be taken advantage of, right?
Correct.
People with disabilities should not be taken advantage of, right? And there's something that you've been saying here where it's like one, the way that both society or the people who are involved in these specific like litigations or like in the related to the assets, one there's a worldview that they hold. And part of that worldview is like of like not being smart enough to be able to navigate this. I believe I heard you say that, right?
Right.
Um, and then in addition to that, there you've also brought in this element of like you tried, but like you tried and failed, and now it's gonna mean that you're gonna live on the streets. Can you like and you brought in like the $2,000 element? That could you like help tie that together for me just a bit here so I can see like what how that component also contributes to our conversation?
Okay, so those on SSI, okay, let's just discuss SSI by itself. Those on
Mhm.
SSI are only allowed to have a maximum of $2,000 in assets. If they have more than that, then Social Security is going to say, "Why are we paying you? You have enough money." Okay, so we're going to stop your payment. And so they will not, or they have not raised that to 5,000 or 6,000. So therefore, people with disabilities are stuck because they can't get the support they need um, to become independent, and that's why I suggested the 9-month trial work period, and that's got to do with you trying and try to make it out there on the basis of a 9-month trial work period. And I can go in more detail about that um, when the time is appropriate, but it's very very important to discuss that. But again, you need support under legal issues in regard to civil legal issues.
Yeah, yeah. So if I'm hearing you, there's like you've noticed that there's a fine line, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
like if you go beyond to the $2,000 in assets, then then you lose the additional support from SSI, and then it becomes a like a catch 22 because it's like without that now you're in a more precarious position than you had with it, right?
Right.
And so and let me get this. Is there like an underlying element where it's like if you come off of SSI, you don't get back on it? If you go back underneath it, is that what it is? Like, let me just check in there. Like, so if someone goes to like over $2,000 in assets, then and SSI comes off, is it possible for them to come back on?
6 months from now, which
Okay.
means for 6 months they're going to have to get an attorney or somebody to help them out. How are they going to live if they don't have any money or resources to live on? And
Hmm.
so that's why millions of people are on the streets because
Hmm.
they tried, or they made money. They made more than $2,000 under the table or through work. They made more than that. That affected their SSI, so they can stop it because the law says you make more, then you don't get the support you need to live on SSI that pays you to more or less do nothing.
So I think that if you're cool with it, I'm gonna move away from like the actual specifics of like of things because I think that if they need support, they can reach out to you directly for support on this. Because I think there are gonna be outliers out here who either have experienced it themselves. You're making sure that we know that like, hey, if there's something like this is something that's happened out in the world, and if there's either an outlier that's listening to this themselves that is experiencing this or is like in afraid of experiencing this, or they know someone that might be in a similar position, I'd love to make sure that like they reach out to you, Zylo. So what's the best way that they go ahead and do that?
Well, they can go to my website, zylomarshall.com, ZYLOMARSHALL.com.
Mhm.
They can contact me there. And the people we need are those with disabilities so that they can get the help they need. And we need attorneys regarding legal issues so that we can get the help we need on that level. So those two things are what we need is other disabilities that can help me work on my website, not just myself, and attorneys on that who can get paid on a commission based on legal issues to help support them um, become, more or less self-sufficient than just living in a shell.
Nice, nice. All right. So outliers, we have a bit of our call here, right? So like there's many different ways that we can support this movement that Zylo is about, and not even this movement, but like the actual change that Zylo is making come out into the world, right? Zylo, you said there were two lenses that you have. I want to get into more about like you and how you show up and how you continue to show up for people, but I think there is a part of like an educational awareness that I want to make sure we bring into our space so that we get to see what's at stake and what it is that like with the work that you're doing. So we talked about this on the civil side of things and with the lawyer side. So there was another side of this here that also is important to go into. So can you let us know more about that?
About the employment side,
Yes.
okay. Um, so there's four aspects of that. The first one, these are 9-month child work periods. So if you go on Plan
Can
A,
I pause you really quickly, Zylo? Really quickly. What is like as we get into this, like what is the overarching like problem you're trying to solve that you're trying to solve, or what's the problem that people are facing before we get into like the actual solution of it? So let's make sure that we're on that page first.
so they can become self-sufficient and go out there and enjoy the world, go out there and observe the world and make money knowing that they're going to do it because they got the help they need to get to that point. So it's got to
Okay.
do with
Okay.
adults who are on their own that don't have the support that people do. There's no mom, no dad, nobody out there, and they need to get the support to make it um, easier for them than to just go shopping, come back home. And that's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a lot of people do. They just go shopping, they come back home, they go to the park, they go here, they go there. They don't have enough funds to enjoy the world because they didn't earn it. They just received it because of their disability.
Mm-hmm. And so then you're looking to propose something that's going to change things up and both empower and also like give people more stability. Tell us more about that.
So the four plans you want me to discuss?
Yeah, let's tell us about those.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. So um, plan A or yeah, plan A. So plan A, let's say you make commission based on a 9-month trial work period. You are a comedian. You are funny. You go out there and you do a comedy show one night. You get $7,000 just doing that one comedy show. Okay. With the plan A on the 9-month trial work period, you can make 200,000. You can make $200,000 that 9-month trial work period because you did it, and you did comedy shows almost every week, and you know that you now know you can do it because you tried knowing that Social Security was there to support you under that 9-month trial work period. They'll pay you money while you're doing that. So that's plan A. Okay. Plan B, if you want to work a 9 to 5 job. The plan A was commission based, whatever you want to do independently, commission based. Plan B is 9 month trial work period. So that would be, let's say you make $1,000 a month, and you uh, the first 3 months you have a job you're doing. After 3 months, they're going to decrease that from $1,000 to $750. 6 months, $750 to $500, and so on and so forth. So that would be able to help them if they're making money. That they will support them because they're trying on a 3 month basis, 3 month basis, that they've tried to do that and they've decreased it. So that's another avenue of that.
Before we get
Um,
to plan C here, like I want to try and get, because I realize like there may be a bit of it that might be too technical for the platform right here.
right,
So I want to make sure that like it- the I think one of the best things that we can do is make sure that like outliers know about the problem and that there are different solutions available. You know, and so there's a I think the questions that come to my mind is, one, if someone wanted to go through and they're like, okay, I want to know more about these things, right? I don't know if the podcast platform is like the best way to like communicate the specifics of it. What
right.
would be the best place for them to get those specifics?
Well, they can contact me on my website,
Okay.
and we can communicate that way. And we can see if those that want to become self sufficient can do that on a employment level, and then to become self sufficient. So therefore, those with disabilities connect to my website. Those who are employees, those who are politicians, um, can work on the other end of the website so that they know that this website has employees, or has politicians, has attorneys, to help support the issues they need, so that they can become self-sufficient. Whatever their disability is, should be brought to my website, and at that website, they can say what their issue is. With For my issue, for example, I can't drive a car, so how am I going to get to work? And most people work at another location, so how do I get there? There's my issue. Somebody else has a
Yeah.
different issue. How are they going to do it?
Yeah.
And then, of course, that job that you do, if you have seizures, if you have something that affects you, there's a liability. So there's got to be different avenues for those with disabilities becoming self-sufficient, um, and doing it in that way.
Thank you, there, Zyla. Like I think that there's something. I appreciate you like making it real and like painting the picture of like here goes what like this is what the real challenges are. This is what it's like to experience it in this way. And outliers, we have a way to like we've been exposed to. If you didn't know about it, you've now been exposed to a problem that's been existing. If you do know about it, like you now have been exposed to someone out here who's fighting on your behalf, and is bringing together people to say like you don't have to accept the status quo as it is, and you don't have to like take being taken advantage take being taken yeah take being advantage of. That's what I want to say.
Right.
Without pushing back and leveraging your own rights here. And so go to
Yes.
xylomarshall.com to engage in a conversation. It's clear that Zylo knows about this. Like he has experience in it, both like professionally and lived experience. So that makes it just makes sense to go down that path, right?
Correct.
Zylo, we have about like with the rest of this conversation, I want to talk about you in particular, right? The Zylo
Right,
who could have like sat at home and just kept on doing your day to day. There's that version of you, and some multiverse out there. There's a Zylo who didn't become a national disability rights activist, you
right.
know, and then there's the shared reality that we have here, where you did. And I'm really curious about two things. One, what was the thing that made you say, "I'm not going to be on the sidelines with this one"? Like it's not enough for Zylo to get support for like for you to get support for yourself. You're actually going to go like out of your way to go and make sure that it becomes easier for others. What was the thing inside of you that said, now this, like I'm gonna go and make something out of this beyond just the day to day?
Well, I because of a legal issue, in 2000, excuse me, because of a legal issue in 2010, being disinherited, I was selling property. I was working on becoming independent. I sold $500,000 in real estate. Without a car, I had the support I needed with people. There you go, support from people. And with the disinheritance of the $80 million, that left me at a standstill. Okay, now what do I do? And that stopped me from doing that. So I said, well, okay, now that I lost my inheritance, now that I lost my career, now that I don't have anything to look for, what am I going to do with my life for the rest of my life? And that's one issue many people face. What am I going to do for the rest of my life? And so I said, okay, so those with disabilities have these issues as well, just like myself. And so if I could go home and do nothing and watch TV, or I can fight for the rights, um, gain legal help on civil matters over assets, which is what I need. I need an attorney. But again, with that situation, you need an attorney, you have to pay them. But if you're disabled, you don't have those funds, how can you get an attorney and who can help you? And that's where the contingency based attorneys would help you get to that point. And then those that want to become independent who don't deal with legal issues, they can go out there and work. Is that clear? I mean, I
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I
So
speak,
like,
I get very confused.
okay, well, I'll let you know. Like, it's coming through clearly. I'll share with you what I think I'm getting, and you let me know if this is what you were trying to put out there. Because earlier you
Sure.
said like you're like, oh yeah, I this is what I feel like I'm hearing. One, you had like there's a time in your life where you had set things up for yourself to be independent and successful. You had an inheritance that you could rely on, and you also and you also had employment or found like yeah you found employment through the real estate world that was bringing in money where you can also like rely on that. Both of those things fell through. One of them you got disinherited, and the second one is like the job itself fell through, right? And throughout that period you needed support from other people in order for you to be able to uh act upon it and take action on it. So far so good. Does this feel aligned,
Yes.
Philo?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's coming through, and part of why I'm saying this, Silas, I want you to understand. I want you to get like a reflection back on how your message is coming through, right? So that like, because sometimes we say it out in the world and we don't get the reflections that came in. So
Right.
I want you to know like what you're saying is coming through, right? So now you found yourself in this position where you've been disinherited and the way that you're bringing in income also has fallen through, and you're like, I need support, right?
Right.
And so you found what I'm getting from you is that through your journey you found that like these are the types of supports that I needed from a legal perspective, but then
Mhm.
there's also like you still need your livelihood to go down. You have the legal perspective around the assets, but you
Right.
also like need to be like, how am I going to take care of my livelihood now that like the way I was making money is gone? So you kind of like you had both of these situations going on. One of them was on the
Right.
legal and asset front related to disinheritance, and the other one was like I was making money this way. Now I'm no longer able to make money through that. Like how do I continue to sustain my livelihood because I want that independence overall? Let me check in with
Yes.
you. Does that feel aligned?
That feels aligned. Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay, all right. And then the last thing that I'm getting in here, and this is actually great here, is that like you yourself are not a lawyer. but what you've come in is like because of your own lived experience of having to go through this here, you've had to go figure out, how do I find a lawyer? How do I go through these processes? What are all the different components that are involved in it? And as you're figuring it out, you're like, this is not something that people like. Not everyone can do this, and like, and if I'm getting you right, not everyone should have to do this. And so as you're figuring things out, you're looking at it and saying there can be a better way, right?
Yes,
And like there's like someone needs to stand up for the rights of people with disabilities so that like they aren't being taken advantage of, and they aren't like they don't have to go through what I'm going through. Let me check in
correct.
with you. Does that feel like aligned as well?
Yes, and what that is what's very, very important are speakers. So if you have a
Mm,
speaker on a podcast or at an event discussing these issues to
yep.
attorneys, politicians, employees, or employers about these issues, then they can understand, well, what can we do to change these issues so that those with disabilities can become independent. So we need speakers. That's one of the most important things. The speakers that deal with a specific area of disability um, that right now don't have any support. The only support they get is the money from the government, and they will eventually decrease that because they won't have any more money. And then those receiving SSI, what are they going to do? They got no money, and they're just living maybe on the streets, which is one of the biggest issues people face. Well, if I don't
Mhm.
get my money next month because I got a job, I could be homeless for a few months or for
Mhm.
the rest of my life. And that's a serious thing. Who wants to be on the streets laying on the concrete for the rest of their life?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So this is like where I really want to say I really respect and acknowledge and respect you, Zyla, for the work that you're doing. And like, it's not easy.
Yes.
I was gonna say it
Yes.
can't be easy. I'm like, no, it's just not easy, right? And what like there's an element here where I'm gonna pull it up here from the specific elements of disability rights in particular to like an outlier journey here, which is what I get is that you have a lived experience of an injustice, and there's something that you are um, you decided to elevate yourself from not just solving the problem for yourself, but
Right.
recognizing the challenges you had in it. You decided to go and solve it on behalf of other people. All right.
Correct.
And outliers, for any outliers that's listening here, like whether or not you like specifically fit into the situation that Zylo is talking about, or you have someone that like, like specifically fits into this, I want you to also be paying attention to like, like answering the call that's within you, right? Like to know like, hey, if there's a time when it's your turn to step up, to stand for something, to go for it, like that
Right.
time could happen like any moment. Zyla, you mentioned 2010 was when you had the disinheritance situation take place. When did you actually step in and say, okay, now I'm going to go out and try and like, make the floor plan proposal, like bring together the lawyers and the politicians and the other and so forth to actually make changes? When did that change happen between like for you? Was it like right away, or
Last
was it like a few years went by?
last year, I've been doing nothing for 15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
And
tell me,
so
you say you've been doing nothing for 15 years. What does that mean? I
nothing.
like it's so yeah.
No work. I have a family. I have a child and a girlfriend.
Yeah.
We just live the day-to-day life that other toddlers live. And if you
Yeah.
look at it this way, you have adults living the toddler life.
Uh-huh.
Okay. If you want to look at it literally speaking, you got somebody who's 45 years old. Now, again, if you have a disability and you can't, that's going to be the issue that they have to deal with. If that's their disability, they can't. But those that want to go beyond that and can, with the support, then they can help make it happen. And so those are the ones that are self-sufficient. And I'm pretty sure there's millions of people out there with disabilities that are on their own,
Mm.
okay? And they're just living a day-to-day life, spending their money maybe to just pay for rent, and they get free food every month, every week, because they don't have any money to they can't work. They don't have enough money to buy food. Okay, I've seen that happen too.
So, Zyla, I got to ask. Like, I'm deeply curious about this here. What was the thing? From what you're saying, you went 15 years of living in this state in a certain type of way, right? And then last
Right.
year, something changed, and like not only did you say I'm not going to live this way anymore, but like you said, that, like you decided I'm not going to live this way, and I'm going to make it so that others like don't as well. What happened there? Because like what I'm like you made it 15 years of one way, and then like something changed and you said, no, no more. Like, why wasn't it 16 years? Why didn't it get to 20 years? Like I'm really curious about like what was that shift for you?
Well, I just spoke to people and they just said, well, listen, I got the issue, but I can't help you. I don't understand it. So therefore, I thought, okay, well, if they don't understand it, then why can't I help create it and make
Awesome.
it okay? Now, one last thing I want to put into place here, I want to put together a 501(c)(3)
Okay.
nonprofit organization. Okay. And that's where I need professionals to work with me on that. So if they're attorneys, politicians, if they're speakers, then they can work on that. If they work on websites, they know how to be able to monitor and take care of that. I'm just by myself. So I want to create a 501(c)(3 um, and do that. And the asset that go into that uh, company, not a nonprofit organization, does not go to me. So I can get money from that every month to live on up to $2,000 if need be, but I can't take more than that. So that's where I need somebody who's more experienced in the 501(c)(3 to take ahead of all of it because I wouldn't be able to understand doing everything. If I can have 4 people or 5 people on the team, then I can make more sense with 5 different voices.
Nice.
And,
Nice.
not just my voice and, but those that wanna be, on the forefront to make it, and a lot of it's gotta do with their time, but a lot of it gotta do with if they can make money through doing something, then that helps create it. A speaker wants to go to an event and speak about something, but they want, some money because it's very important. Then there we go with that. But again, that's where I need professionals that understand this more than just speaking. Because I'm just
Yeah.
speaking, I'm just winging it right now, and that's not something I want to do is wing it. Professionals
Like
make it much easier.
what I want to acknowledge you for stepping into the game. Like it feels like you stepped in the game before you were ready, and but you're still here, right? And so I want to acknowledge you on that. Like spoken like a true outlier. I'm just winging it, you know. The funny thing here, Zyla, that caught me, and we'll start wrap up our conversation here after this. But I was recently reminded when I was talking to someone on this podcast about like the entrepreneurial journey. And it's something that like back when I was listening to entrepreneur podcasts, I heard had them say all the time. I think about the entrepreneur journey, not just from a business perspective. Like I see you as an entrepreneur, Tyler. Like you're creating a vision of something. You're bringing to life a vision of something that hasn't been done before, right?
Right.
The entrepreneurial spirit is there, and so the, like what came up was it was such a common thing. It felt almost cliche at a certain point, but they talked about uh, building the plane while they were flying it. Building the plane while they were flying it was the language they used, and that's something I'd heard for decades as like since I started my entrepreneurial journey. And what got me was I had realized at a certain point I had stopped doing that. I had been trying to build the plane and then fly it. Get everything right, figure out everything first, make sure all my ducks are in a row, make sure I'm coming off polished, making sure that like I know the exact talking points and the like so on and so forth. Um, and it was in that conversation that I was reminded of like I was like, why do things feel so slow? Why aren't things clicking? Why? Because there was always more work to get done first. I was never gonna be ready because like the only way to learn how to fly a plane is to fly it, you know? And
Right.
then it's like then you build what you need based on what like the experiences you've had. And so one of the things I really want to acknowledge about you, Zylo, is that like is the fact that you're winging it. Like the fact that you're winging it makes me know like, okay, like he's building something here. I also want to say I want to thank you for being a demonstration on self advocacy and advocacy for others, right? So like being willing to say like this is the kind of support that I need. You know, this is what we're building. This is like if someone is drawn to this message and wants to come in, if someone want like let's build this thing together, you know. I hear you and feel you in that like in that specific element. We're back, we've connected again.
Yeah, yeah,
But like I hear you and feel you in your self advocacy, and I think that's something that we as outliers can all take in as well. Where it's like how much of us are asking for what it is that we really want or need, versus like waiting and hoping that it would just be offered. Like Zylo has made very clear asks here, and there's something about that that I also recognize for myself that I'm like, oh, I there are times where I step away from it. There are times where I'll hint. There are times where I won't put it out there, even when it comes to just invitations or yeah, there's just many different areas where I can even go by and think about it. So I want you to think for yourself, outliers, like what would it be like if you spent the next month practicing asking for what like the help that you needed,
right.
practicing asking for what it is that you wanted, uh and not just doing it, but being in the practice of doing it and strengthening that muscle overall, you know.
One of the most important things is going above and beyond. Living the regular everyday life
Mm,
is not gonna work. Going above and
mm.
beyond what you normally would do is what's gonna work. If you don't get an answer, if you don't get what you want, you gotta go above and beyond what you don't normally would do.
I love it. I
And
love
if you
it.
don't if you don't do that, then you're just keeping yourself in the same situation for the rest of your life. Get up, go to
That's it.
work, get up, go to work, get up, go to work, because you don't choose to go above and beyond. And Steve Harvey, he said specifically, I chose to go above and beyond, not just live the everyday life. I want to go above and beyond. And this is where I am because I went past what I know. Okay. If I
I
don't
love
know
it.
it, I got to figure it out. If I know it, then therefore I got to go to the next level.
This is it. This is the game that we choose to play as outliers. Like,
Right.
thank you, Zyla. Thank you for showing up this way. There's a quote that I don't know who to attribute to you, but it's something along the lines of, "If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten." You
Right.
know, and like it's like I love things that just make sense logically. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can't really refute that, you know.
So,
So, Zylo, I appreciate you for coming in. I'm glad we got another chance for you to go and share your message, to share how things line up for you overall. Outliers, we can go and find Zylo. You've mentioned your website, ZyloMarshall.com, if you want like any support on the legal side, on the employment side, or you have any questions for Zylo, or you're looking to say like you're interested in helping them build and bring this 501c3 out to life. Like Zylo has been really clear in the asks here, and I'm grateful for him for it. Zylo, what was your biggest takeaway from this conversation? What's something that you are leaving this conversation for yourself with?
that I've spread the word and more people know about the issue. Because I'm talking about the issue. I'm not the disabled person living. I talk about the issue. And so I've been able to express it more to people that sit and think, okay, well now what can I do?
Yeah,
And so it's more or less speaking about the issue to get
yeah.
people involved.
Yeah, well, thank you for continuing to open up the aperture, letting us see more into your world and into like what it looks like to take a stand for something, and to let your lived experience do something. Like I love the fact that you're like, one day I realized it was up to me, and so I decided to do something about it. You know,
Right.
outliers. We're gonna end for this conversation here. Remember this: until the next time we talk, go ahead and be you on purpose. And if you want a place to be you on purpose, where you get a chance to be surrounded by other people who've decided to get off, like to not just watch life happen to them, but to be an active participant in changing their environment and the status quo around you, you should come and join us inside of the Outliers Edge world, where we create intense experiences to up level who you are being in the world, so you stand with more integrity and you're able to take on the different challenges that come with bringing something to life that hasn't been done before. You can go to school.com/outlier to come and join us there. There's a QR code on your screen right now that you can go ahead and scan as well. All right. We are very much looking forward to what we create together. Go forth, be you on purpose. The world needs you. Journey on.
Thank you.
Thank you.